Hey ho, dear ones. I am so excited for today's episode. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks when I was working with my client, Laura Michelle Wolff, who is also today's guest. And she was leaving me a message and she was talking about how she has had so many money wounds throughout her life. And she's overcome so much of those wounds and has really actually, in many parts of her life, activated lots of abundance, so much so that she teaches courses on abundance. But then she kind of always would find herself going back to this lack and this scarcity. And what she uncovered was that in a past lifetime, she had made a vow of poverty. And when she said vow of poverty and past lifetime, I was like, oh my goodness, we need to do a podcast episode on this because so many people struggle from this. And I really feel like it's a huge theme that I'm seeing coming out of sessions with clients. I've had 3 clients, in fact, ask me to teach a course in the near term or a class on healing money wounds. And I just said, yes, I am going to be teaching a course on healing money wounds. And I'm going to talk about that in just a hot sec. But when Laura Michelle said vow poverty, I was like, this is it. This is why so often we get stuck in these patterns and these cycles, whether it's a vow of poverty or a vow of chastity or a vow of fill in the blank. And we don't understand why we're not getting out of these patterns that hold us back. This is so often what's really at play here. And it has nothing to do with, oh, you're not following the right marketing strategy. Oh, you don't deserve it. Oh, all the things that we think it is. And of course, if you're trying to make money through a business, yeah, sometimes it is strategy and sometimes it is marketing. But when you've made a vow of poverty in a past lifetime, you can have the best marketing strategy on the planet, and you're not going to see money funneling in consistently year after year into your business with any sort of ease and flow. It's going to be a struggle. And there will likely be boom and bust cycles until you heal and until you go back and undo the vow. And that's what Laura Michelle and I are going to be unpacking in today's super powerful episode of Soul Guide Radio about healing a past life vow of poverty. But before we get into our conversation, let me tell you a little bit about Laura Michelle Wolff, someone I've known for a long time and I really adore. She is a ghostwriter, full-service book publisher, and human design specialist who helps entrepreneurs create nonfiction books that sound unmistakably like them, not like every other formulaic business book on the shelf. She blends strategic marketing, SEO skills, and meticulous book project management with intuitive insight and energy healing. Her process is body first, spirit aligned, true voice, and rooted in nervous system regulation. So the book that you write isn't just strategic, but it's soulfully yours. How beautiful is that? Laura Michelle and I have a magical conversation about past lifetime vows of poverty and other such vows. Please enjoy. Welcome, Laura Michelle.
Hi.
You,
Thank you
are the sole inspiration behind this episode. Well, I shouldn't say soul. You're the in the sense that I've been wanting to do an episode on this for some time, but you were like the key to unlock the door to make it happen.
Great. Happy to do it. Even though I don't know what I did, but
So we were talking. Is it okay if I share that?
yeah, you can share anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and I have known each other a long time.
Yeah.
You were a guest on my second podcast.
Mm-hmm. A long time ago.
So I feel very blessed. We've known each other a long time. We know a lot of people in common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, we've helped each other out through the years. I consider Laura Michelle a peer, a client, a teacher, like all the things. And so we're working together now. And you had mentioned as we were preparing for a private session together that you had uncovered something about uh, a past lifetime vow that you made to yourself. And that vow from the past lifetime was a vow of poverty. And I want to dive into that because I see it so often with clients. And if
Mm.
we make something like that, a vow of poverty in a past lifetime, if we don't release that vow, it will carry with us from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. So I would love for you to share before we get even to the vow, like what led you to even know that there might be one? What describe how this has shown up in your life that led you to the point of saying, wait a minute, there's got to be something, this has got to have a longer tail than just this lifetime. And I need to see what's really happening.
Yeah. So money is the theme. I think everybody has like one area of life that's your testing ground and drives you nuts and all of those things. And mine is around money and finances. I come from, my mom and my dad's side were very poor. My dad's side, the most poor, like literally picking in the cotton fields kind of poverty. And so it's been a lifelong search and a lifelong struggle. And I've had many healers work with me, and I've asked a lot of questions. So I found a lot of layers, but it has really peaked this year. I made some changes. I started a publishing company, and the economy and all the things just converged to make it so intense. I started asking that question again. And I've been asking, where is the origin? And I would find, back and go back a little further and go back a little further or find a different past life or a different memory. My sister also has the same issue and she's working it. So we share like, oh, I found this and I found that. But I didn't feel like I was getting to the origin, the one that you could pull and it would unravel the sweater, that main one. And so I found one prior and I intellectually went through it. But when I started working with you and everything is escalating, and I started asking again, um, we going through Soul Blueprint, back in digging mode, and
Yes.
I asked again and felt it more. But I also felt like it was far too big. It was just too big for me to do. A lot we can do by ourselves, but these big ones need help. Someone to hold the container, someone skillful, and someone I trust. And I don't trust automatically. So I do trust you because we've worked together for so long and before. So that's what drove it, is just frustration. Like, I know that this is buried somewhere and I can't access the whole thing.
Yeah. Um, so I would love to talk for a sec about past lifetime trauma and how it often shows up in a current lifetime, not as big T trauma, but as little t trauma. And sometimes if you get enough little t's added together, it can
Yeah.
snowball into something that feels like a big T. And what I mean by that is the big trauma being like something that really triggers big, painful trauma response and wounds, very low vibrational, very difficult to process in the moment. Little T trauma being more not as intense in emotional pain, where you can process it in the
Mm.
moment a little bit more easily. And certainly that's the kind of trauma that you can work on by yourself, that you can
Yeah.
have a self-healing practice that you can release. The big stuff, that's when you can't operate on yourself anymore. And
Yeah.
right, as you were saying, and you really need to go with a skill, especially like the listeners of this podcast are old souls.
Mhm.
They're skilled light workers. They've done a lot of work on themselves. So they need a healer that understands their long journey and the sophistication and what might need to happen to actually heal. Because sometimes it is really tricky. There's a lot
Mhm.
going on.
Yeah, there is a lot going on, and it comes with strong emotions. And um, there's been too many times that I was being coached or even in therapy where the facilitator was not comfortable with the level of emotion, just that energetic wave that can come through like a sound, like a sonic boom, a very intense, like short-lived but intense flash of emotion that's been old and ancient, and it's just intense and thick, and um, not everyone can hold the I'll say the walls of the container while that blows through. It's like an atom bomb is the
Yeah,
image I see. Yeah, and so you have to have someone who can stand steady through that and hold that space while whatever needs to happen can happen. It just happens, but we have to hold space.
100%. And I have told this story before, but I definitely recall the time that I was in a group coaching call with like 200 people on the line, and a very
Oh,
famous coach was coaching me. I'm not going to say the person's name. And they wanted me to share. I had referenced my near death experience in a question that I asked her. I had submitted in advance, one of those
oh,
things.
yeah.
So she picked my question to answer. And she said, "Tell me the story of your near death experience." I had never told the story publicly. I was still very much processing it. I was still very
Mhm.
much in some big T trauma around it. And I told her on the call 4 times, Laura Michelle, that I don't feel comfortable telling the story.
Yeah,
And
that's not
she
cool.
thought that me telling the story was going to be some sort of breakthrough, and it was going to break me through to the other side of whatever it was I needed to go. I don't even remember what my original question was. And so she kind of forced me. I didn't have the power to tell
Yeah,
this famous person, New York Times bestselling author person, no a
yeah.
fifth time. I did tell her no
Right.
4 times, so that's pretty
Right.
good.
Yeah, yeah, I'm impressed you
Thank
without
you.
even that long.
She finally pulled it out of me, and then when it was over, because she was expecting me to expecting me to say I got hit by a bus, and then I saw my late Aunt Martha, and then I decided
Right,
wasn't my time to go, and I popped back into my body.
right.
And that's, as you know my story, that's not at all the
No.
story. And so I told this horrible version of the story because I was so nervous. And then she said, "Are you ready for this?" She said, "Next caller, please."
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
So it
Oh.
is truly a thing. And I'm glad we're talking about this, because it's not just about finding the doctor to operate on you when it's time, but it's really
Yeah.
about finding the right doctor.
It is, and it needs to be like I maybe we should talk about this more as an industry. It's okay to hang up or walk away.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
I had 2 instances. One coach, I was crying my eyes out, had come to the call. I was very upset and triggered over something, and I was trying to find the words, and she was pushing, and finally she said, "You know what? You're just not coachable." And I was like, "Whoa." It's like a bucket of ice gets poured on you, right? It just all the doors slam and you're wounded again. And the other one, I was in a deep past life, um, unfolding, and the woman said, "Well, I'm giving details," and she goes, "Well, I Googled that and I think it was this." And I was like, "I'm in the process of this and you're on Google looking up an irrelevant detail?" Oh, no.
Wow.
No. So, yeah, shop around and don't be afraid to change. Change
Yes.
focus, go elsewhere.
Such a beautiful, I want to do an episode for Soul Guide Radio called The Coaches Who Wound Us, because I've had so many clients.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm really sorry to say this, but from my experience and from my many, many clients I've coached, it's mostly the big name coaches that have done,
Yes.
not all, but like a lot of
There's a pattern
wounding.
there.
There's a
Yeah.
pattern there because
Mhm.
I think there gets to be a lot of ego, and you kind of think you're invincible,
Too
and
many
you
people.
too many people.
Mhm.
Containers get too big. Exactly. Because, like, back in my example, what I had open was a big can of worms, which she should have never even opened, but she did. And
Right.
then it was
It's gonna
too
zip you
big to
up.
handle
Yeah.
with 200 people on the line.
Mhm.
So, what she should have done and said, okay, that's kind of more than I had bargained for, Allison. But
Mm,
what I'm going to do
mhm.
is I have this coach here who's helping me with the call. When this call's over, she's going to call you and you can work this through or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of next caller, please. Yeah,
Yeah, like, "Here's your bucket of ice water, and now we're gonna slam the doors and create more wounding on top of wounding, and
exactly.
bye-bye now, take care then." Like, just not just so
Totally, totally.
irresponsible.
So, such wise advice to just say, no, you can hang up. Like, you can hang up if they're really trying to prod you. If you're on an
Yeah.
open line with other people and you just
Oh, yeah.
sharing it with other people is triggering you, you can
I
hang
wouldn't
up.
have been I wouldn't have been able to, uh, in your situation with the I wouldn't have been able to, I would have spilled my guts and ended up wounded again. That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of
Mhm,
pressure. Yeah, it
mhm.
is. And it is super wounding to share a vulnerable story when you're not feeling ready. So,
Yeah.
what I love about your story, Laura Michelle, and your journey to healing your money wounds, which um, we were talking before the call about the Chiron return and how, as part of your Chiron in your astrology, you can
Your
have,
placement. Yeah.
yeah. What did you call that? It's not an I don't believe in unhealable wounds, but
It's
the
unhealable in the sense that it's wounded healer archetype from the myth of Chiron. Everyone has it in their chart, and it's unhealable in the sense that it's a repetitive pattern that replicates until you find peace. So the process is acceptance through compassionate curiosity, and then the symptoms and the replication ease, and then you can pull the gifts from it. Because it has gifts in it. So all my struggles with money, I've taught money classes. I've coached money people. I've been a shame buster for now probably 10 years of helping people bust the shame around debt and um, just money in general, judgments about wealthy people, like find so much peace because been in so much pain trying to unravel this pattern. So we have to accept that we see the pattern usually because we're going from healer to healer to healer to healer and trying to find why won't this pattern stop? It's that pattern where you're like, this again. I thought I already dealt with this. And it's so painful and it feels unfair and we can feel victimized by life. So once we accept it and and then compassionately employ curiosity and explore it. And then we're like, okay, well, this is a thing in my line. It's here for whatever reason. Let me at least accept it and love all the ugliness of it. And then as soon as that is really done, then you're like, oh, I can take all this going from healer to healer to healer to healer and all this obsession trying to change this pattern. And now I can really serve people who have the same issue, whether it's a pattern for them or just a wound, because you're not afraid of it anymore because you've really just accepted the entire thing. So unhealable in the sense that it doesn't go away, but it transforms and then it alchemizes, I guess would be a good word. We can
love
alchemize it.
it.
Yeah.
Love it. And so to put a soul blueprint lens on all that, and I love how
Yeah.
like all of these spiritual methodologies from human design to astrology to blueprint to gene keys to fill in the blank.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love layering them on top of each other, and it
Yeah.
just creates a clearer and clearer and clearer picture. So I would call like what this money wound that Laura Michelle has, and I just want to reflect back. I'm a huge believer in we find our biggest gifts in our biggest woundings. And Laura
Yeah.
Michelle is a brilliant person to heal you on money and to help you tap
Thank
into your
you.
abundance. I mean, I
Mhm.
just experienced it like a couple days ago when you left me a box about wanting to become a billionaire philanthropist.
Yeah, it's
And
a
I've
dream
actually never
job.
heard like those two words together. I mean, I know
Uh,
the concept of it, of course, but like, and I was like, oh my God, and you just saying those words to me, and it's something that I've wanted my whole life to be able to have, not just be generous giving back with my know-how and my empathy and my energy healing,
sure.
but I want to
Yeah.
generously give back with money, but in a
Yeah.
really smart way. Not
Yes.
throwing money at a problem, but really smartly giving people money in key places who can take that
Yeah.
money and transform their own lives and then be a force multiplier for good to, uh, 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 carry it on to give it
Yeah.
on then to others so it ripples out. And you just
Contagious
saying
wealth.
exactly. And you just saying those words to me activated me. And that's really spiritual gift of leadership at play. When you were just
Mm.
being, you weren't thinking about it. You were just saying,
Mm-mm.
you were just sharing. I
Oh,
dream of being a billionaire philanthropist. You
yeah.
sharing, and you were just in your true essence. You didn't have filters up, masks up. You
Mm.
weren't hiding. You were being the true essence of Laura Michelle, and you
Yeah.
activated me. And guess what?
Great.
I went and told my business bestie, who's a successful entrepreneur, and I activated her. And I bet you she told some few people and activated them. So just
So
went.
perfect.
So, like, I just want to reflect back. You do have amazing gifts just that I've experienced on this topic, but I do want to go back. So,
Yeah.
we have this vow of poverty. And
Yeah.
so in Soul Blueprint, you learn about the 5 key energy blocks or trauma wounds that we carry. There's current lifetime, which you have from your
Mm-hmm.
childhood, from
Mm-hmm.
various points of your life. There's past lifetime, which we've uncovered you have in abundance. And I want to talk about in just a sec the lifetime that you uncovered where you made this vow of poverty, the first one,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
carried the vow with you for many lifetimes. We also uncovered. Then there is ancestral wounding, right? The third that we get from our lineage, our family lineage. So all the wounding, that's part of that. We get born into our wounds. Then there's the social conditioning. So that's all the
Yeah.
wounding we get from our church and our school and our society and the news, and now certainly social media, all that wounding.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would even put like what we were talking about with these big name coaches. That's kind of a
Yeah.
socially conditioned wounding where they're like the
Yes.
big chieftain. They're the guru and we're the followers, but they're actually wounding us instead of healing us.
Right.
I would put a lot of that into socially conditioning that's creating energy blocks. And then lastly is wounding and blocks from other planets, other planetary systems we've lived on, not in human form. So those blocks
Right.
actually take on a little bit of a different characteristic.
Yeah.
But let's
All of the
go
above.
all of the above. And so when I tapped into this wound, which I think is part of your
Yeah.
Chiron, is it Chiron wound? How do you call it?
It's yes, I would call it that. Yeah, because it's
Okay,
just
yeah.
repetitive and deep and lifelong. It's in the money
Yes.
house in my astrology chart and
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
in Soul Blueprint, I would call that one of your key core wounds. And it does all the
Yes.
things. A core wound does all the things you were just describing.
Definitely,
So
yeah.
I uncovered that you basically have all 5 of the wounds are
Yeah.
activated
Yeah.
with this particular core wound, where we're talking about this money wound. So take us through, and this is what I really wanted to talk to you about because I'm seeing this pop up so much with clients recently, where take us through the lifetime that you uncovered where you made this vow of poverty.
Yeah.
What happened in that lifetime?
Yeah. So in this life or that lifetime, I'm in this lifetime. Where am I? Like that lifetime really felt like the origin story for me. And I know from experience, when you find the origin story and you pull it, the whole sweater unravels and you might still have little vestigial stuff, but once you get the big one, it changes everything. And so in that lifetime, I had been royalty for years, born into it, multi-generational, opposite of this lifetime, right? Very wealthy, billionaire wealthy, rulers of the kingdom, the whole 9 yards. And it was it has that French Revolution feel, although I agree with what you picked up is that it was before that, but not too far before that. But that lifetime, I knew things were wrong. I knew we should be doing things differently, and I didn't act on it. I don't know. I probably wouldn't even have known how to act on it. But what happened is the community, there was uprising. The palace that we all lived in, I feel like there was a lot of family. And some were killed, others were whisked away, like out the back doors to go with relatives. Some just scattered to who knows what happened to them. It was very violent and very sudden. And I had that horrible feeling of, see, I didn't do anything. I knew I should have done something and I didn't. And now look. And so I was hidden, and, I have these flashes like of images of walking on roads, like dressed in like nondescript clothing, like in hiding, um in disguise is the name I was trying to think of, but not even in like a carriage or anything, just moving by foot at night, stealthy to get to some relatives, absolutely stunned and shocked and frozen and terrified, no idea what was going to happen next. So once I land wherever I landed, I was through reflection. Probably people told me, it dawned on me, it finally broke through to me how callous and cruel our family had become, that we were um, tyrants, like used the people to make the money and then said it was our money, and everything that we see happening very loudly today in the 1% versus the 99%. And the 1% doesn't get it. And I didn't get it. And once I got it, and it hit me, the horror of it all, and the death and the destruction and the callousness in that moment, I can feel that viscerally, but I'm not having an emotional reaction to it now, so I know that it's cleared. But I am aware of the intensity of like never have money again. People with money are horrible. So never have money, because money, I blamed money as the problem, right? We pin it on money. We still do. It's not all the things. It's the money is the problem. It's not the money. It's the person wielding the tool of the money. But I was like, I will never have money again. I can't. I'm so horrified by all of that, and so much regret and shame and just the terror of it all. And also, not only don't have money, if there was another piece of it, but it has left me in the place of I can only have, it's dangerous for me to have money, but it's also dangerous for me not to have money, because you can die if you don't have resources. So it was like stuck in this place of just survive. But if more money comes in, make sure to get rid of it, because money is bad. People with money are bad and horrible. Um, so just let in just enough to survive. And I know I'm forgetting a piece of it, may come to me. There
Well, I
was
think
two
one big
pieces to
piece
that.
was
Oh, the
this is
irredeemability.
this is irredeemable.
Yeah,
I'm
irredeemable.
unforgivable. I can never get forgiven.
Unforgivable.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew there was a strong piece to it. So it's like, we're bad and horrible. People with money are bad and horrible. Never, ever have money again. And you can never be forgiven. This is you're irredeemable. There's no way to ever atone enough, regret enough, give enough. It's so awful. You're just absolutely irredeemable. There's no hope for you. You're unforgivable. The whole thing is unforgivable.
So isn't it incredible? Here you unveiled all of these belief systems to include a
Mhm.
vow of poverty, and all of this
Yeah.
stuff you carried forward, not just to this lifetime, but for several lifetimes after this particular lifetime. So
Yeah.
it built a
Hundreds of
theme.
years.
It got stronger. So of course, like, I mean, it's also a testament to our biggest darkness is also pointing us to our biggest light.
Mm.
So it shows you like what an actual powerhouse you are to actually even overcome these limiting beliefs the way you have. But we don't want to overcome them
Mhm.
now. We want to heal them and rewrite them and reveal
Yeah.
our truth. That's,
Yeah.
usually when we heal, what's revealed is our truth. So we went in and we cleared the blocked energy from current lifetime, past lifetime. And you've already done,
Mhm.
after, 45 years or more of your kind of focused healing on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We went in and cleared these 5 major areas that I was talking about. And when we got to the past lifetime healing, I had you go back to this particular lifetime and
Mhm.
ask that former version of yourself to forgive herself and to release the vow. How did that go?
Yeah. That was hard at first because it was so it's like those moments become like a fly in amber. It's just so stuck and so solidified that really the reaction was, "How in the world could you ever? How could you ever forgive? How could I ever let go of it?" And what your program does and what you do is you remind that the fixing or the unwinding or the goal can be completed now. Like everything I couldn't do then, you did this on a different one we did too. Everything I wanted to do then, like not it's not atoning now, but doing it differently, taking money and really, like you said, leveraging it for good with the in sustainable ways that are respectful of the people that you're helping and build structures instead of just tossing money that ruins everything. Because unstructured money does ruin things. So once I was like, no, we can still change it because time doesn't exist either. So all the wishing and the wanting of why didn't I do something? Why didn't I do it differently? Well, I can still do that, but I have to let go of the lockdown first. Like we have to let the money in to do good with it. It has to be here. Can't do it without it. So it's like she gets to have that. I was thinking about it while we were on a break. Like it's a second chance of all second chances that often our lives end with our dreams unfulfilled. And you're very good at prompting to, no, you can still do it. It just, it just took there was just a gap. But all those talents. And then the second part is bringing all those skills that she had forward because I couldn't see that because I was so stuck in the horror of it. Like, no, she had nervous system capacity to handle billions, equivalent of billions of dollars, and manage it and direct it and be the boss of it. And how she was being the boss of it wasn't great, but it doesn't mean she's not a good boss. So bringing all that forward, and then she was like, "Oh, I can still fix it." Okay, so I can forgive it because I can now do things that I didn't get to do then to address the um, inequality, the wealth inequality, which we are so, I mean, literally, astrologically, we're in the same place we were during the American and the French Revolution. So we are getting a second chance on a global scale. And now I'm getting a second chance on a personal scale.
Yes. And when you told her that, wait a minute, you can still fulfill your soul mission, but in order to
Coalition,
do that,
yes. Yeah.
yeah, you have to release this vow. And then, was it not then where she was like, okay, I'm ready?
Yeah, then there was space for possibility. Before that, it was just like, this is horrible. I'm done. It's done. You can't fix it. It's hopeless. But when you introduce that, you inject that, like, oh, wait, there's another way to see this. There's like 10 other different ways to see it. And so then hope comes back. And when hope is gone, you can't do anything. So injecting just even a whisper of like, really? Is it really all gone? Is it really something we could do different? Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there is hope. There is possibility. There are other ways to see this and other ways to keep living the soul mission, which does go life to life to life to life, however you conceptualize that, it just continues on. And this is still an active chapter that I can be rewriting every moment.
100%. So beautifully
Yeah.
said. And so after we did this healing, we checked in with your higher self for a message. And the message you got was, it's all going to start rolling in, and I will hold steady.
Yeah. I wrote that on my whiteboard. And after I got off the call with you, I had someone ask me for a link to someone who had a Chiron session, asked for the link to give to some people. And I had a beautiful testimonial on Facebook about that. And I feel like there
So
was
we're
something
talking, this
else.
was like
Yeah, like
recent,
a
like
moment.
right after the call, moments
Moment.
after the call.
Yeah. As we were wrapping up, things started coming in. Someone was asking to like, oh, can I have the link? I want to send this to a friend. It was so good. And then someone had left a testimonial from their session yesterday. So, and I could feel it. And it's a little like nerve sided. You know, you're like nervous and excited at the same time, but also I feel confident that I can handle it. I know what to do. And I can do it now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
huge, huge blessing.
So beautiful. So then I asked you, because I think this is another important part of it. I actually asked your higher self, like, what other Buffalo steps, which is my word for homework, do you have for Laura Michelle higher self? And your higher self said to do some whiteboarding uh,
Hmm.
and exploration into what you would do with them if I handed you $1 million. Like, what would you do with $1 million? Like, what's the
Yeah.
various ways you could spend it, invest it, save it, whatever. And then I got the intuitive hit to bump that up to 10 million. And the
Yeah.
reason why I got the intuitive hit, it's called, my higher self calls it dream stretching, where we don't, immediately go from like, oh, I can make $100,000, let's say in a year. And then tomorrow I'm going to make 10 million in a year. Typically, we have glass ceilings and we have visions
Yeah.
of how much we have capacities. It's like the whole big leap thing. We have our upper limit problem. And so to overcome what we think we are capable of achieving, what we deserve, what's even possible for ourselves, we have to stretch our container out. So instead of dreaming of 1 million, we dream of 10 million to really stretch that container out. And because why this is so important for you, Laura Michelle, is because you've been living with this vow this whole lifetime and under those
Mhm.
those constraints and under those limiting beliefs. So now we need to write your whole story. And you've been rewriting it. And this is part of the rewriting and really stretching
Yeah.
out the container to make it really big to hold a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's on there. It's on the whiteboard. And I can feel the stretchiness of it. And also a glimmer of like, that is really doable.
Yes.
It's not. That's not just out of the realm of possibility.
Absolutely not. It is doable. And and then this is what I call what you just did. You just connected to the truth of your truth. Because we
Mhm.
all know our truth. I know I'm worthy. I know that I'm capable of this and that and the other thing, but we don't always
Yeah.
believe it to be like we know it, but we don't connect to the truth of it. But when
Yep.
we connect to the truth of our truth, that's when it's like the light bulb goes on. And then,
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
Laura Michelle, how do you feel? I would love to
I
know.
feel I feel tall. I'm not tall. I'm only 5'6", but I feel like tall. Um, for me, that tall feeling is when my higher self and my body and I'm on track, and it's the feeling of alignment. So it's like I'm looking at you at this level, but there's this other level that I'm aware of, that higher level. And I haven't felt that in a while. Certainly not this year. Just because this year's been quite challenging. So I feel really tall, and I more than that, I feel capable. Like, it feels now like, oh, yeah, of course, this is a done deal. Of course, we're going to start, snowballing ahead. Of course, we're going to. It's not like, I don't need to be like, yeah, but will it? I don't have any of that kind of self-pity
Yeah.
to me type of energy. Like, of course it will. Don't be ridiculous. Of course it's going.
Of course it will. I love that.
Yeah.
Laura Michelle, I would love for you to leave our listeners with an invitation.
Oh, my favorite invitation to issue to people is ask more questions. The minute you ask a question, you step out of the mind's certainty of, I already know the answer. Like that woman, she decided she already knew the answer. It was unfixable. Probably some of it could have been fixed in that lifetime, but she had shut the door to it. But when we ask, how can I see this differently, is my favorite question to ask. How can I see whatever this thing is in front of me? How can I see this differently? What's trying to happen here? What am I not seeing that if I saw it would change everything? Where am I blind? I'll say that a lot. Show me where I'm not seeing what I need to see, or show me where I'm not perceiving. So when I'm stuck, I'll walk through the day asking questions, question after question, and it leads down their breadcrumb trails, right? You get a little breadcrumb answer, you go there, you follow another breadcrumb trail until eventually you get in front of the right person at the right time with your right readiness, and things can change just in an instant like that. Questions.
Beautiful invitation. I'm going to take that one on myself. And how can our listeners find you?
The best place to start with me is with a human design session. It's called a foundation session, but it's really a coaching session. So we take your human design, we can look at your Chiron, we can look at all the things and get it's revelatory. We can see where you're stuck, why you're stuck. And then because I have 25 years of experience, we can co-create a strategy for then what to do next. So it's not just like, here's a bunch of information, bye-bye. It's here's a bunch of information, now here's what you can do with it. So that's planethumandesign.com. I have a book coming out December 6th, Designed to Captivate, which is focused only on the gates of the throat and your message and what's aligned speaking. We manifest from the throat. So it's all focused on the throat. And that is December 6th. So Planet Human Design, the book is on Amazon. There's no way I could remember that link. And if you want to just learn more about my worldview and what I think about and the way I approach things, it's lauramichelleWolff.substack.com. There is a publishing side of it, but that feels separate to this. I think I was going to include publishing, but just go to Substack and find me there.
Beautiful. We're going to leave all those links in the show notes. And I really do encourage you guys to reach out to Laura Michelle for a human design reading. She is brilliant, and grab that book. By the time this is released, it's going to be, that book's probably going to be, you'll be able to purchase, or I'm sure there's a pre-sale now. So
there's a pre-order now. Yeah.
Yeah. So get your book and get on her calendar, and you will not regret it. Laura Michelle, thank you so much for being on Soul Guide Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. That is a wrap for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, until next time, may your soul guide the way.